Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to go over the new Thunder 255 MTS. Just going to focus on the DC TIG side. Pretty quick little video just to give you a run through of what's available on that side of the machine. So let's go ahead and get set up. We've got a number 9 air-cooled torch. I am running a number 15 Edge Cups gas lens on it with a 3/32 2% lanthanated. Running 30 CFH on the flow meter, pure argon. We've got some 065 stainless coupons here. I'm going to set the machine to 100 amps. Let's go ahead and let's turn pulse off real quick. We are going to run through the pulse settings just so you guys can see what those different DC pulse wave shapes do to the arc. It'll really change how it ramps in and out of your high and low. But for the moment, we've got everything set up. We're going to do 10 start amps. We've got 9 seconds post flow, about a second of pre-flow. High frequency start on the pedal, so nothing super crazy. Let's go ahead and get a couple pieces down on the table and we'll run some arc shots, show you guys how stable this thing is. All right, so we've got a couple of coupons here. Let's get them down on the table. We're not going to clean them up too much, just get a little bit of the junk off of them. So let's get them down here, get them tacked up. Let's run a real short bead. We'll go up and down. We've got a camera on the display, so we'll show you how fast this thing reacts to the pedal. Pretty standard stuff. We'll switch through the different start modes, the lift start, live lift, kind of show you how those work as well. But let's just run kind of your standard pedal DC TIG mode. I'll just pull that one. We don't even need to run a joint. So light up at 10 amps. So obviously, you know, it's DC. Not a whole lot to wow you with on straight DC. It goes up and down and it melts metal. Pretty simple stuff there. Filler rod's a little big for this, but it'll work. So there we go. Nice crisp starts. Let's do another one real quick. We'll do a couple restarts real quick just to show you how fast this thing pops on. So super crisp on the starts. We'll ease into one. I'm just going to roll the pedal to where it clicks the micro switch, so we'll have a minimum amp start. So even starting at 10 amps, still a super crisp start, even if you're all the way down at the very bottom and you're just barely touching the pedal. Still a really nice start. So let's go check out the pulse real quick. We'll run through some pulse settings. So of course we click down. We'll go ahead and rotate over. We'll turn our pulse on. So we're on square. We have sine and triangle. So what we're going to do, we're just going to set it up on square wave for now. We're running 1.8 pulses per second, 1.8 hertz. We're running a 43% on time with a 20% background. Doesn't really matter for what we're doing. We're just basically showing you it's switching from high to low. And I want to show you guys what those DC pulse wave shapes actually do. So typically, like personally, if I'm going to run a pulse, I'm going to run a foot pedal pulse. So I'm in total control. Sometimes when you are doing like roll cages, something like that, something where you're in an awkward position, you can't run a foot pedal, setting up the finger trigger and then setting a pulse on the machine. I will do that if it's something that's real awkward. But if I'm out open like this, I'll just run a foot pedal. But we got this set up on the square wave. So this is going to be a hard up and down. So from our peak to our minimum, it's just going to bang back and forth. There's no in between, no roll out, no roll in, just up and down, up and down. So we'll make a little short run and then we'll switch our actual DC pulse wave shape to where we do have some roll in and roll out, and we'll be able to see a pretty good difference on the arc characteristics on the arc shot. So again, this is just square wave pulse. So we just get that traditional up, down, up, down. So let's leave everything else the same. Now we're just going to go to our sine wave pulse. So we drop down, go over, there's sine. So again, all the same settings. All we're going to do is just change how we're ramping in and out of our minimum and our maximum amperage on that pulse. So you can kind of see it's not as hard of a transition in and out of our min and max. But with the sine wave, we're never at our absolute minimum or our absolute maximum on that pulse for very long. It basically goes up and hits it, and it's diving right back down. So we still have on the menu, we can come over, go to triangle. So now we will ramp up and then flatten out for a little bit before we drop back off. And then as we come to our minimum, we'll flatten out for a little bit and then come back up. So again, it's going to make a little bit of difference in how we roll in and out of that amperage, and we'll be able to see it on the arc shot cam. So there you go, just a little bit of difference in how it rolls up and down. One thing with this machine too that we do offer that a lot of multi-process units don't. So we're at 1.8 hertz for pulse now, but this thing will go all the way up. We'll turn her wide open and it's going to really scream at us, but it'll go up to 500 hertz DC pulse. So this thing is going to really start humming. And this will give you an extremely stable arc. So that's a lovely sound. That might be the only thing that's more annoying than welding aluminum at a high frequency. So there we go, super screaming. So that's the pulse side. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and turn the pulse off now. Let's turn it pulse off. We're going to come over to our left side and let's play with our different starts. So now we're going to go from a HV start to a lift start. So on our lift start, we're still going to use a remote, whether it's the finger trigger or the pedal, to tell the machine we want to start an arc. But what we're going to do, it's not going to high frequency start. So we'll come down and we're going to hit the pedal and I've got nothing. So it's not going to start an arc until I hit the pedal while the tungsten's touched down. So I'm going to touch down. Now I hit my pedal and I lift up. And now it's just going to run like, like we're on standard DC, nothing fancy there. When we terminate though, I'll go to hit the pedal again and I won't get anything. So with the lift start, I'm going to touch down. I'm going to actually hit my pedal and then lift up. And there's our lift start. And after that, after the arc's initiated, it just runs like standard DC. So now let's go ahead and go to the live lift. And this is going to be a little bit different. Oh, you got to touch the right dial. So now we're on live lift. So now I can hit my pedal. I'm hitting my pedal and nothing's happening. I've got nothing going on. I won't even trigger my pre-flow. So what I'm going to do, we're going to come down and touch the material. We're going to have pre-flow start. And as we lift up, we're going to start our arcs without a remote. So there we go, nice and easy. And when we want to terminate, we just snap out of it. Obviously, if you're doing stainless, you don't want to snap away that much. Let's let that post flow stop for a second. So now we're going to come down, we're going to touch. Our pre-flow starts, and then we lift up. I held it there a little bit too long. And this is going to operate on 2T. So there is going to be no amperage control with the pedal while you're running. Let's grab another piece. That one's getting a little hot. You're not going to have amperage control while you're running live lift. It's just going to be straight current. So we can actually, let's turn that down just a little bit. Let's go to 74 amps. So we're going to come in. The plate's moving. There we go. And that's live lift. So some of you guys that are doing like a pipe process where you can't use high frequency, or if you're in a sensitive environment, sometimes in hospitals, you can't use high frequency if you have to make a repair to something. So that's where the live lift and the lift start really come in handy. A lot of your guys that are welding pipe, they they like to have that live lift feature and be able to snap out of it because you can't always use a remote. Um, but yeah, so in live lift, the torch is always live. So if we were to set this down on the table and pull up, it's going to start an arc. So that's something to be mindful of when you're running live lift, that the torch is always going to be hot. And you want to make sure that you're mindful of that, just like if, you're stick welding. So nice little feature though, especially for guys that are doing some like process pipe, sanitary stuff. That's been a big request in the past. So we wanted to go ahead and start adding it to more and more machines. Anything that like the multi-process units that can do DC TIG, we're going to start adding live lift to pretty much all those units, besides some of the bigger stuff like the 263, 253 DPI. Those aren't going to have high frequency, but they will have like a scratch to start TIG feature to them. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. So we just went through the DC TIG side of the 255 MTS Thunder. Um, it's not a brand new model. It's a replacement for the 251. DC only MIG TIG stick machine. We're going to have a lot more coming out with this machine here in the near future. So if you're interested in a DC only multi-process, aluminum TIG's not something you need. Taking a look at the Thunder 255 is going to be it's going to be a real solid machine for you. So keep an eye out for it. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.